Once upon a time, there was a good little boy named Jacob Bilvins. He would always obey his parents, no matter what they said, and he always read his books, and was never late to Sunday school. He would not play hooky, even when his better judgment told him that it was the best thing that he could do. He wouldn't lie, no matter how convenient it was. He just said that it was wrong to lie, and that was sufficient for him. The other boys in the village just didn't understand him. Nobody seemed to know why he didn't enjoy the things that other boys did. They all came to the general conclusion that he was sick with some strange disease, and the boys did their best to keep him safe from the outside world. In fact, the only boy who understood why Jacob did what he did was Jacob himself. Jacob loved Bible stories. He would always read them, and would always idolize the good little boys in them. He wished that he could someday meet them, but it always turned out that the good little boys in the stories ended up dead by the end, and everyone was crying at the funeral, telling out stories about what a good little boy he was. Many times he would begin reading a book, and if he liked it, he would skip to the end to see what happened to that particular good little boy. But the end was always the same, and Jacob felt sorry that he couldn't meet any of these good little boys in real life. Jacob's ambition was to become one of the good little boys that got into Bible stories. He realized that this probably meant that he would have to die, but he was alright with that. He had a dying speech prepared that he had been practicing for quite some time. But the strangest things continued to happen, things that never happened to the good little boys in the stories, like the one instance where Jacob tried to help a blind man after some ruffians had knocked him over.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you hooligan, knocking a poor old man over like that. Here, I'll help you up, poor sir. Oh!
How dare you knock me down and pretend like you're some kind of saint? You're trying to help me out. I know your trick. Just because I'm blind doesn't mean I'm stupid. If I ever catch you again, I'll really let you have it.
This entire event confused Jacob greatly. He checked all his books, but he never found a single instance where the good little boy had been hit for helping someone. He even checked all his books twice, just to be sure. But the strangest part was that this wasn't an isolated event. There was also the time where Jacob tried to help the dog.
Why, a stray dog? Oh, I shall take it in and make it my own. I shall feed it and give it a home, and then it will love me, and I'll get into a Bible story. Come here, doggy. Come here. Oh, doggy, please. Ow!
The dog was the same one as the one in the story, and he did everything the good little boy in that story did. But in the end, the dog attacked him. How peculiar this all was becoming to Jacob. The entire thing got even stranger when Jacob, on his way to Sunday school, happened across some kids going out to sail instead of going to Sunday school. Jacob turned pale as he remembered that the kids who skipped Sunday school to go sailing always drown. He was sure of this. So he went out to save them from their terrible fate, but slipped into the water when his raft fell apart. Luckily, a man was able to fish him out of the water, and a doctor pumped out the water, but he was still sick for quite some time. And the strangest thing of all was that those sinful little boys who didn't go to Sunday school, they all ended up not drowning. Jacob was starting to get worried that he wouldn't get into a Bible story at this rate, but he did still have his dying speech to fall back on if he needed to. Jacob realized that it was time for him to be a good little boy at sea, so he went to the ship's captain and asked him to join his crew. But the events that unfolded only confused Jacob more.
Oh, hello, my seafaring captain. I am Jacob, and I wish to join your merry little crew. I have a letter of recommendation from my teacher, and so I can assure you that I will be a valuable asset to your crew.
Oh, let be blowed! This doesn't prove that you know how to wash dishes or handle a slush bucket. Why you be wasting my time, you little runt? Why? I oughta you from the gallows and your river from your you little.
Oh.
And that was it. Jacob felt that he had no chance to get into a Bible story now. All the things other good little boys had done to get into Bible stories had failed for him. He was contemplating just giving up on the whole thing when he saw the most sinful thing he had ever laid eyes on occurring just down the street from him. Down there, two boys had taken some empty cans of nitroglycerin and tied them to some dogs in a long procession. Taking the lead dog by the collar, Jacob sat down on a greasy can. The bad little boys all ran away, except for Alderman.
Sir, how dare you do such a thing to these innocent creatures? That is just reproachable. Did you ever think of the dogs and the feelings they have? Why... If I wasn't such a pious person, I'd have a few words to describe you. You meanie... Ah! Oh!
And thus was the end of the good little boy. That one slap ignited the grease that was on the good little boy's trousers, which in turn ignited the remnants of the nitroglycerin that was in the cans. The good little boy shot up into the air, and that was it. He landed back in his town, at least most of him landed back in his town. The rest was scattered equally across 4 other towns. And as for his dying speech, he never got to make it, unless he made it to the birds in the sky. And thus perished the good little boy who did the best he could, but didn't come out according to the books. Every boy who ever did as he did prospered, except him. His case is truly remarkable. It will probably never be accounted for. The end.